With Marvel superheroes coming out next week, I figured this would be a good time to check in on Izzet Prowess one last time before the new set comes out, just to see how this list is still operating. The last time I played a list that was very similar to this one was on April 26th, so it's been like a month and a half. Of course, in that time, I've played plenty of other Prowess, Slickshot Show-Off, fling-oriented lists. Those ones are all pretty good, and all of these lists have their own strengths and weaknesses. They all play ever so slightly differently, but they are all aggro deck at the heart and trying to end the games on turn 4 or turn 5. Now, this list that I have in front of me here is pretty solid. It's been playing pretty well in testing, and it's one that I think you can definitely climb through Diamond up into Mythic with if you stick with it. Now, the differences between the list that I played in April and the list that I have in front of me here is the slight change in the creatures. The list that I played in April was playing the Color Storm Stallion, trying out a new card from Secrets of Strixhaven, but this list has gone back to the Emberheart Challenger. Valiant is a very powerful ability. We do have Ancestral Anger and Wild Ride in the deck to trigger it, and of course, it's just a solid haste prowess creature for 2 mana. This list is also playing a little bit more pop than the other list. This deck is going with 4 Bolt Waves and 4 Vibrant Outbursts, so we have a little bit more reach or ways of ending the game with that last little, damage to the face that we might need to find if we can't get that last 2, 3, 4 points of damage. The original list was playing Ops and Secret Identity, and also more Sleight of Hand. We're only playing 2 Sleight of Hand. So this list is really relying on the Storm Chaser's talent, Boomerang Basic, to draw some extra cards, and other than that, we are just hoping that the top of our deck treats us properly. So that's the list. We're going to try it out on the ladder and see if we can climb a little bit further through Diamond. See you over in the games. All right, one last ride with Izzet Prowess, trying to aggro down opponents before hopefully some things in the format start to change next week. Although, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do you think the cards from Marvel superheroes are going to be impactful enough to actually change what is happening in Standard? I'm not really sure. I think in this case, we choose the Elusive Otter. One thing I didn't mention in the intro, we do not have any of the Yellow Rush Verge, I believe was what it's called, the one that is blue and a green mana, but we do have starting towns in the deck, so that's how we could possibly cast Grove's Bounty. Now the opponent, Duress, they're probably going to take the Sleight of Hand. They take the Wild Ride. I'm a little surprised by that. So from here, of course, I guess that leaves us with the Emberheart Challenger option, or maybe the Elusive Otter option. You know what? Let's just put this out, and then next turn we can at least get Ancestral Anger plus the... I think I have to go with the Steam Fence. We can go Ancestral Anger on the Emberheart Challenger to maybe get a little bit extra value, although I'm not going to really like doing that next turn. Storm Chaser's talent going to be a little bit too good to turn down in that case. The starting town would have been great. Hitting the 4th mana source would be great, but I think our Elusive Otter is probably going to get taken out, and that is a huge surprise. They have to have, like, the opponent has to have something, a Requiting Hex or something, right? So we're not going to do the Valiant thing. Instead, we're just going to get double Prowess with the Elusive Otter and the Emberheart Challenger, make another Otter. The opponent's struggling on mana, so hopefully they're not sitting on like a ton of removal spells. We can get in a little bit of damage here, probably just 2 damage. I think you got to take out the Emberheart Challenger if you are worth 5. There's the Bitter Triumph, and they discard a Liliana Dreadhorde General, which is... that's an interesting one. The opponent getting stuck on 2 mana when they are playing big stuff like Liliana. That's... oof. Phyrexian Arena. Okay, so here's our moment, right? 100% we take the time to load up these creatures with the Ancestral Anger, and the Elusive Otter's good, but I don't think, maybe we'll save it for a possible Wild Ride in the future. You know what? You got to take the moment. You drew 3 Ancestral Angers. You just go, 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 go. So we're going in for 16 points of damage. They're down to 2. They're losing 1 to the Phyrexian Arena. We have Bolt Wave and Violent Outburst at our disposal, and this is how you draw it up. This is ideal situation. The opponent getting stuck for that 1 turn, and that's all it took for the Izzet deck to take full advantage of it. It's so lame, but it's kind of fun. Skip. I can't say I had fun there. I can't encourage Slickshot Show-Off anymore. And I know I'm running Slicky, And Slicky, okay, wasn't in that game, but he was in the list. He could have been out there on the field smacking down the opponent. Speaking of which, there's old Slicky. We get to go first. We have 2 creatures. We have not the best mana sitting here, but I think it's okay. And you know what? I'm just going to fire off a Bolt Wave. Nice early Bolt Wave. I don't know if that's right when you're sitting here on creatures that you definitely want to be casting out, but I think considering we don't have a whole lot of mana, maybe that's going to be the best approach. Dredger's Insight. So we are probably against a Kavaro list. Oh, maybe it's a Yuna list. It's cool. That could be very cool. So we're just going for it. I think this is a turn that we try to put a ton of damage on the opponent. It's not as much as I would like it to be, but I think it's plenty of damage. Now, this Dredger's Insight is going to gain them a little bit of life here and there. And if they end up taking out one of these creatures next turn, that could be a big problem for us. Fastland Scavenger, pretty cool. Yet, well, yeah, it's pretty cool, but we just bounce it back to hand and kill the opponent. we're gonna we're gonna go for a record number of games today. I know. I also realize I am encouraging Slickshot Show-Off behavior by playing this list, showing it to 1,000 people who watch the video. Yeah, I'm the bad guy. I have a genuine question for you specific people who keep track of their data, or specifically people who are using untapped. Shock this in because I might want to burst lightning something. I think I am going to shock it in just in case they put out like a Llanowar Elf. I definitely want to burst lightning it. And then next turn, I will definitely plot the Slickshot Show-Off. I don't want to have like an awkward moment where I'm like, I could hit the Llanowar Elf if it's there, or plot the Slickshot Show-Off. I think it's worth taking 2 damage here just to have that mana open. Do I care about a Fanatical Firebrand? And I don't think I do. I think it's probably fine just to let this hit. So my genuine question that I want to ask all of you wonderful people is, I'm sure you play best of 1. If you're a best of 1 player, you have your stats on UntappedGG. How varied or how weird are your matchups when it comes to playing first or being on the draw? Being on the play versus being on the draw. I am going to use the burst lightning now on the higher claw, or do I want to use this on face? So next turn we got, okay, let's say they tap out here. This is going to represent 6 damage, and this is going to represent 7 damage, 8, 9, and I think I actually don't use it on the higher claw. I don't need to use it anyways. I want you to tell me some of your data. I'm going to focus now. I'm going to only talk about this thing that I want to ask, because lately I've been having like some really weird things where I have these big groupings of on the play versus on the draw. And I'll go over to Untap and I'll check it, and it'll be like, you played 6 games in a row where you were on the draw, and then the next, like, out of the next 10 games, 8 of them will be on the play, something like that. Like these it's not really consistent, like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. No, it's big chunks of on the draw, big chunks of on the play. So I would like to hear from some of you that may or may not have data on this. I would really curious how other people are experiencing the game and whether or not you are seeing weird patterns or not. Now the opponent, they didn't do anything this turn, so I think probably I'm just going to put in the multiversal passage. I'm assuming that they're holding up 2 burst lightnings for my Slickshot Show-Offs, and I can't allow them to, these things to just die. We don't have any protection spells, we don't have any pump spells, so against an opponent that's sitting there on burst lightning, it's kind of a problem. We kind of need the opponent to just make their move. Yeah, I think it would be cool to see some other people's insight into the distribution that you've experienced in the game. Okay, so now they only have 1 possible burn spell, and I think it's probably okay just to allow 1 creature to die here if I need to. But I think one of them is definitely going down. So the next question is going to be, do I just... Well, we're going to bounce the Needlehead, I guess. I don't think we're going to get super lucky with how this attack's going to go. They have to have the burst lightning. If I can get in for just 10 damage here, that'd be all right. No, they are going to react. So they did have one burst lightning, so we can't do anything about that. So what I can do now is I can... Is it worth it just to hit the higher claw right now? Just because I am kind of losing a lot of life. I think it's fine. So hit the higher claw, pump up the Slickshot Show-Off ever so slightly more. 7 damage to the dome. Take them down to 10. But actually, I don't like my position. They're sitting there with 6 cards in hand, and I kind of blew my load. And I kind of needed both Slickshot Show-Offs to go in. But there was no way they were ever going to give me an opening where I was going to have... where they were not going to have the Burst Lightning and up, considering that I had 2 Slickshot Show-Offs plotted. This is kind of the problem. We've drawn a little bit too heavy on the lands in this matchup. But, you know, we're only 1 card away. You know, if we found a... Oh my goodness, Scorching Shot. They really wanted that Slickshot Show-Off to go down. If we find the class, we'll be okay. Forgetting what it's called. Oh, that's bad news. That's bad. I'm not going to play it out. I'm just going to hold it in hand. I'm too embarrassed to show them all my lands. You never want to go up against an opponent, a red opponent that's sitting there with so much, you know, so many cards in their hand. Okay. Discard, discard. I kind of feel like I have to put the damage on their face. And that sucks because then I'm just tapping down the Tursa. It's just like a slight band-aid. But I need Storm Chaser's Talent. Now I remember what it's called. Storm Chaser's Talent will be quite helpful. Put a creature on the board. Ancestral Anger is not great. But we do get to target the Fanatical Firebrand at the very least. So, okay. If we don't die next turn, what this makes us live to is one of our 3 remaining Burst Lightnings. We can kick it and kill them. I don't think this one's gonna work out though. Okay, they only get in for 3 damage. So you're telling me, oh, kind of cool. Oh, see, that's a risky play by the opponent here, because they could have just killed me with a Fanatical Firebrand. They didn't need to mess around here. It doesn't matter. If I had drawn the Burst Lightning, we could have waited to react to them doing the Fanatical Firebrand thing and killing us with it on the stack. Of course, it didn't work out that way. I don't know why the opponent's waiting. Like they definitely all the chips are in, you know, the ball's in their court. What expression should I use for this situation? They have us dead 100 times over. Just use the Fanatical Firebrand. There you go. GG, opponent. A little bit of a rough one. 6 lands. I'll chalk it up to that. Maybe we need pump spells or protection spells. Perhaps I should have just waited for a better opportunity to throw out Slicky. Oh well. Opponent's going first this time. We do have our mana base. It looks okay. The little bit annoying thing is that we don't have blue mana right off the bat. We kind of need to draw our fast land or our shock land so that we can get the elusive Otter onto the field on turn 1. That would be the ideal situation, but right now we're kind of like just hoping that the opponent is going to stumble a bit. They are stumbling. They are mulliganing down. They are playing black. So requiting Hex, Intimidation Tactics. They get their pick out of 2. I think you... Ooh, okay. I would have guessed you take the Emberheart Challenger there. Is it worth it to throw out the Bolt Wave? Why not? We'll use our mana efficiently. They've already gone down 2 life from that Godless Shrine. They did mulligan a bit, so maybe using our mana as efficiently as we can is going to pay off in the end. And they get rid of our second Emberheart Challenger. So we are hopes and dreams on this Storm Chaser's Talent. We would love to find a Boomerang Basic now, especially with this island. Very good use of our mana. Ketramos. So Ketramos is interesting here. It can't block. And they probably don't have... Oh, that's in exile now. They don't have a way of turning this on. right? It's going to take them a while to be able to get up to using this mana. Oh, a second Slickshot Show-Off, and they missed their land drop. So let's just get in for... I did attack with the Otter last turn, right? I'm quite sure I did. And I'm going to just plot one more. Now, I do have to be a little bit careful. This Ketramos could get 7 cards in exile from us over here. Ooh, okay. Ghost Vacuum is another way of them exiling something. They get to draw a card and get closer to being able to attack. I would want to turn off the lifelink from the Ketramos. But, no. Okay, we're just... They're not going to have 2 removal spells here, right? If they're going to have 1. 1 is good. But we will tap down. Ketramos will deal 3 damage to the dome. Pump, 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 pump. Go in. And if they have 2 removal spells, they're okay. They need to have 2, though. I guess they could also have Requiting Hex to put a -1/-1 counter light on Ketramos, which seems to be what's happening here. No. Okay, still not enough damage mitigation with the Bitter Triumph. So we're back on the waiting train there. I guess Requiting Hex with the Blight also wouldn't have helped because I think it's gained 2 life. And we just had enough damage to end them. How much do you... I wonder, are you a Ketramos enjoyer or a Ketramos hater? I'm very curious. Plug is opponent number 5. Let's see, are we on the play or on the draw? We're on the play again. Good mana. Actually, this time very good because of the fast land. Love seeing that. Double fast lands, in fact. So, I guess it's just going to be the normal plan. Now, this deck... How do you all feel about this deck? I know some of you out there are definitely enjoyers of it. I like Prowess. Prowess is my jam. I like Swift Spear. I like... Man, what was the wizard one that I used to play a lot of? The one non-haste, but it was basically like Swift Spear. I'm forgetting it. I'm terrible with names. But I've always enjoyed Prowess. But I will admit that Prowess nowadays is... It's a lot more powerful than it used to be. Okay. Higher Claw is a little annoying. I am just going to take it out, I think. We'll just hit the Higher Claw while it's still a 1/2. Put down the Storm Chaser's Talent just to pump up the Elusive Otter a little bit more. Go from there. But yeah, are you like me? Are you coming to the channel and enjoying... My red videos tend to do better than my other color videos. So are you still coming here to see aggro gameplay, or are you getting sick of seeing Slickshot Show-Off in these lists? It is the card of the day. Hard to ignore how powerful it is. Okay, unfortunately, we can't really benefit from the Valiant trigger this time around. So is it just Slickshot Show-Off, Ancestral Anger, draw a card, get in for an extra 4 points of damage? 5 points of damage, I guess, because the Ancestral Anger. Maybe. We do have to be a little bit careful that their Slickshot Show-Off doesn't kill us. That's not great. But we do need to find now a targeting spell. We need something like Wild Ride or another Ancestral Anger would be absolutely incredible. If we survive. If we survive. It might not go that well. If they have Pump, Pump, Pump. Oh, Lifelink? Or Double Strike? Double Strike. Please go Double Strike. Lifelink. Okay. I don't know if gaining 4 is going to be... so bad for the... So good for us. So, let's do it the intelligent way. Put out the Emberheart Challenger. Boomerang Basic back the Slickshot or the Storm Chaser's Talent. We find Burst Lightning so we can shock this in. 2 life. Put the Burst Lightning up top. And that's more... I didn't count it out, but I'm sure it's 13 points of damage. 11 points of damage now. Easy peasy. Even if we hadn't drawn the Burst Lightning, still the Storm Chaser's Talent would have been enough, and we could have put the Multiversal Passage out on blue for that. So, cool. Good win. Keep this winning train rolling. It'd be nice to, obviously... Man, these hands, they've been pretty good lately. It would be nice to be able to reach Mythic before Marvel Superheroes comes out. But I have been playing a ton of standard Brawl specifically, having a good time with it. It's a good format. It's very enjoyable. Boom, Burst Lightning on our Elusive Otter, which is fine. We do have our Slickshot Show-Offs back, and the Spire Bluff Canal there, I think, was a pretty great draw because it saves us a little bit of life against an opponent who is presumably doing the exact same thing that we are doing. They also have their Spire Bluff Canal, and we do not have a way of stopping their Slickshot Show-Off. Very brave of the opponent just to throw that down. It's better for me to kill the Slickshot Show-Off right now, right? Like, I think it's necessary. We'll preserve our life a little bit. We'll just put this out tapped. Keep one Slickshot Show-Off in plot. I guess I could have put it out and attacked in for 3 points of damage. Maybe that was the smarter thing to do. What do you think? Making your Slickshot Show-Off there vulnerable, knowing that your opponent probably has plenty of spot removal for it, or am I being too cowardly here? Again, what I could do is kind of try to go in for a big hit, but I could also just ease up for a minute. So here's the idea. If they have removal and they see 2 plotted Slickshot Show-Offs, surely they're going to hold that mana up. So is it better for me just to put out both of these, wild ride one of them, try to get as much damage in as possible, or ease up a little bit? Don't know. And I tend to err towards the side of caution. Strength or a weakness of mine, I am not sure, but we're gonna try it this way. They are using sleight of hand, desperately looking at cards. And let's see, did they find a land? If they are just on a 5 damage Slickshot Show-Off and no third land, then we're gonna be in pretty good shape here. I'm okay going down to 13. There's a land, they put it in. Okay. So how much damage do we actually have? So this represents 7. This represents 7. This represents 5. Right? 7, 7, 5, 14, 19, 20. We have, I believe, 20 damage, right? Am I crazy? This is 7, 14, 21 damage. And I believe the patience pays off unless I am completely mistaken on my math. Maybe I counted it wrong, but I believe I waited for my opening. Opponent, 3 sleight of hands digging into their deck, trying to find answers, but our double Slickshot Show-Off pays off while their Slickshot Show-Off just didn't really do much. So that's an interesting game. You had 2 people playing very similar decks, but having a very different approach to it, where the opponent just ran out their Slickshot Show-Offs. One of them obviously ate the Vibrant Outburst, and then the other one just getting in for 5 damage. Sure, all right, well, maybe it was 7 damage, I guess, whatever it was, but it wasn't lethal damage. So is it better to sandbag your plotted Slickshot Show-Offs, or is it better to run them out on the field? It worked out for us in this game, but doesn't always work out for me. You know what probably helps more than anything is being on the play, and I believe we were on the play for that last one. And we are on the play again. However, this time around, we do not have any of our creatures, so I don't think I can keep this. It's just not going to work out. This is just going to be a better hand. What are we throwing away? Are we throwing away a Vibrant Outburst? I think that might be the play. You're definitely not throwing away Boomerang Basics and Storm Chaser's Talent. So is it actually the Elusive Otter that gets thrown away, the creature? And then you keep, you know, this is creating 2 Otters. You have your Slickshot Show-Off, and this is creating damage or clearing the path. Yep, maybe it's the Elusive Otter that's being thrown away. Well, I think that was an interesting hand to have to decide what to do with it. What would you have thrown away? Did I make the right choice putting the Elusive Otter to the bottom, or would you have done something different? Maybe the Vibrant Outburst, which was my first instinct, but I think in the end, that was probably what I did was probably the right choice. Okay, Overgrown Tomb from the opponent, and since that's black mana, I'm going to take the Coward's Root and plot my Slickshot Show-Off. Considering how much I play this card, I'm surprised I don't have art for it. I have art for so many other cards, but for some reason, Slickshot Show-Off not getting the special treatment. Love that land too. Holy cow. We did hit the Spiral Bluff Canal, which was huge. It's like one of the best lands that we could have drawn in that spot. Get it down on turn 3. The opponent... Remember when I said, are you getting tired of Slickshot Show-Off? Eldest is. Eldest is so tired of Boomerang Basic and Storm Chaser's Talent and Slickshot Show-Off, and they're like, nah, it's not worth my time. RC is opponent number 8. We're gonna first again, Slickshot Show-Off. We have the sleight of hand on turn 1. Okay, I think we can keep this one. A little bit sketch, and I don't like putting my multiversal passage on blue. This one's hard, right? The Boomerang Basics is always going to be good. It clears the way, but Spiral Bluff Canal fixes some of my mana problems, and I'm going to have mana problems this game. Oh, I actually don't know what to take. It might be the Boomerang. I think I'm gonna go spells. I think you got to go spells over lands. There are plenty of lands in the deck. Not so many actually, but I'm gonna go that way. I don't know. What do you think? Was it supposed to be this one? Considering that I don't know what the opponent's on, I might not have a target for bouncing something. The land is going to be kind of important, but also we don't need to flood out. What is this? Add mana. Spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or to activate the ability of an artifact. Exile one or more other artifacts you control. With total mana value X, return target artifact card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Holy cow, so many words. Am I bouncing that? Am I putting out the Slickshot Show-Off? Slicky's going. We are probably bouncing it. I'm going to sleight of hand first. Oh, okay. Well, Steam Vents. That's not much of a decision, is it? And I am going to shock this in because I am going full aggro here. Ancestral Anger, just to see if I find... See, now I'm glad I didn't... Now I am very glad I did not grab that land. 6 lands would have been way too much. We'll try to bounce that card, set them back a little bit. That's the tempo play, and we still have 5 points of damage in hand and or 9 points of damage if the Slickshot Show-Off survives this turn. It does not, which is kind of what I was expecting. Maybe with me... What a draw, right? You do it, right? I think, right now. You just bounce it. It comes back. You put as much damage on the opponent's face as you possibly can and hope that you draw into something good. They're obviously just going to do the Perilous Snare one more time, but they are down to 5. It means that they can't really play Shocklands. They haven't shown us any Shocklands yet, but if they are sitting on Shocklands, it's going to make things very awkward. And now we just need to find a Bolt Wave, Violent Outburst, an Emberheart Challenger, a Burst Lightning, not an elusive Otter. Not great draw there. Do you put it out or do you save it hoping that you'll find... You save it. I think I save both. I might put this out on green because if I find a Slickshot Show-Off off the top and I have the opening, I can put the Slickshot Show-Off out and the Grove's Bounty for lethal. Violent Outburst. We don't need to think too hard about things. It's 0, 3 damage up top. Boom. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Boomerang Basics ended up being the correct choice in the end. Let's keep rolling. I've talked about it before. I love prowess decks. I love burn decks. First again. Oh my god. What? Why am I so lucky today? I've talked about it before. The satisfaction that comes from updecking the winning card is so fun. And I've mentioned exactly this before, saying like back in the day when I played Modern. I'm not brave enough. When I played Modern, updecking that lightning bolt for that last 2 or 3 points of damage to the opponent's dome. Oh, it's so good. It's so satisfying. It's what makes playing this type of deck So enjoyable. Another starting town, not great, but I suppose the opponent's definitely holding up damage, right? Or removal for the elusive otter and or the Slickshot Show-Off. So do I just get in for 1 point of damage and keep holding up stuff? Do they not have anything? That was a very suspicious pass through. It didn't ask them. Maybe they don't have any removal at all. No way. Did I just miss my golden goose opportunity? Am I going to miss it again? They got to have something here. Okay, Witherbloom Charm. It happens. Whether or not they had it on the previous turn or not, who's to say, but we're going to try to make it so that they can't really use their mana for a little while. We need to find... What do we need to find? Storm Chaser's Talent would be the absolute best card off the top. More Slickshot Show-Offs. Yikes. That's more damage. All right. We're going to keep passing it back to the opponent. I don't like this, but we're... I gotta wait for the opportunity. Gotta wait for the opening. Where's the opening? That's not the opening. But I put this in untapped because what I could do is I could just fire off a fully kicked burst lightning. Like 4 damage on the burst lightning is not a bad thing to do. Not a bad use of my mana. They do now have potentially the Restless Cottage coming down. A Enduring Tenacity. So they have, without a doubt, Requiting Hex in hand, right? I think there's no question about that. Didn't trigger there. So we... Man, they definitely have it, don't they? So... I think I do have to bounce the Tenacity. I think I just gotta suck it up. If they don't have it, they don't have it. They definitely have it. But if they don't have it, cool. But we do have now 13 points of damage in hand. Unfortunately, yeah, the Requiting Hex to gain life. And that actually sets us back quite a bit. I can't count on getting extra value out of these Burst Lightning or Bolt Waves later on, so I'm just going to fire them off now and kind of hope that maybe we can draw into another Burst Lightning. But if they start gaining more life, I don't know. Might just not ever have the opening to find enough damage. I don't like doing this. But I think I kind of have to, right? Slickshot Show-Off is interesting. There's no way they don't have another removal spell, but it is just one spell. So this is the same amount of damage though, right? So I'm just going to plot it. Because if, you put out the Slickshot Show-Off, you fire this off for non-kick, it just gets +2 and then 2 damage here. But we're only doing 5, taking them down to 2, which is not lethal. I don't think that was the opening that I was looking for. Professor Delian fell, starts gaining them life, and I think this is where the winning train ends because we get drained down. And I don't think I'm going to be able to find enough damage. They might also figure out a way to kill me. Yikes. Okay. Gotta put it up top. So they're tapped out. We have draws. Sleight of hand would have been so good for us. Please give me another sleight of hand. Give me another sleight of hand. Another sleight of hand, please. Fudge. Fudge. All right, GG. We lose this one. There's a 0% chance of winning at this point. Right? All right. You know what? I'm not going to concede because I want them to do the emblem thing. I want to see it. I very, very rarely see... I don't even know if I've ever seen the Professor Delian Fell emblem. Emblem. Please do it. Come on. Yes. Cool. We get to see something neat. We can at least enjoy the opponent doing something cool here. So this, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. We did not draw what we needed. All right, am I still in this? I don't know. I don't think so. There's no way. We bounced the enduring or tenacity to no end. Putting out the Slickshot Show-Off there, I think, was futile. But I want to see them use. I want to see them use this along with this to get the kill. I guess they gain 3 life now. And how much damage does this end up doing? 6? Yeah, it's not that impressive. It's kind of cool. I think that's a whole lot of work for just kind of cool. And we just drew dead. So they still have stuff to do. Concede that one away. Life gain, pretty tough situation for us. One more. Oh boy, it's getting warm in here. All these, so I use like 4 lights when I record something. I have my 2 lights beside me that are lighting up the green screen behind me, and I got 2 lights that are making sure my face is illuminated. Holy moly, does it ever get toasty in here. Okay, from here, Violent Outburst has not really been doing a whole lot this set of games for us. It's been okay. It did win that one game. It stole that one game for us. But in the end, I think it's been a little bit weak. That's a cool card back too. And well, look who's back. A lot of black and red opponents. I don't think we've faced off against a single green opponent. Where did green go? Why aren't they out here on the ladder? Please do something with your mana. These opponents playing down black mana and then passing the turn being like, yeah, I got Requiting Hex every single time. Deceit. What are they doing with that? Reaching into our hand, grabbing the Sleight of Hand, maybe? I think that's what I don't know what I would take here. Bolt Wave. I think it was the Sleight of Hand, though. Okay. Well, as much damage as we can. Well, it's not as much damage, I suppose, but it's a good amount. So, Emberheart Challenger, okay, next turn, Ancestral Anger, redraw. Ancestral Anger? Hold the Wild Ride because we might not have creatures available to us next turn to be able to benefit from. Hey, that's cool. Yeah? Let's maximum damage. Okay, 15. They're down to 4, which is not 3. Disappointing, but they need to take care of 2 creatures and get rid of the Vibrant Outburst in hand. Ooh, green mana. Looks like the opponent decided to Salty Rope us. For shame. For shame. Let's do this just to make sure that we're getting as much damage through as we can. Pay 0. This is a neat little trick. You can just pay 0. You still get your 3 damage from these 2 creatures here, and then you go on in with your. We don't even need to fire off. Oh my goodness, we had it all day long against that last opponent, finishing with an 8-2 run, 4 pips away from Mythic, but we'll make that climb on our own time. Let's go to a quick wrap up. All right, so what do you think about this build of Izzet Prowess? I like it. It definitely plays a little differently. One big thing is you have like the big turns where you're doing a ton of damage, but you don't have those OTK turns where when you're playing fling decks, you're like, yep, this is 20 points of damage or more, and you just end the opponent on turn 3 or 4. This deck, I feel like you have to do a little bit more chip damage before you can get that big smack, or you do the big smack, and because of cards like Bolt Wave and Burst Lightning and Vibrant Outburst, I probably called it Violent Outburst so many times, Vibrant Outburst, you do have that extra little reach at the end to end the game. Whereas with like the fling deck, when you're playing like a bunch of pump spells, you blow your load, you do 18 out of the 20 points of damage, and then like you cannot get that last 2 points of damage in easily because you just don't have that reach sometimes. Of course, it is playing Burst Lightning, but it's just fewer ways of ending the game. So I do in ways like this makeup of the deck. Interestingly, we went up against a lot of opponents who were playing interaction. Tons of red opponents tonight, tons of black opponents tonight. So opponents that were playing Requiting Hex and Burst Lightning and all those cards that are going to remove our 2 toughness or 1 and 2 CMC creatures. And you know what? I didn't really feel like it was too big of a deal getting the damage through because, you know, you can still just get the creatures out. You just wait for your moment. I waited for my moment quite a bit. and that's how you just end the game. So you do have to play with maybe a little bit of a different mindset, I suppose, compared to the pump up the team with full bore and wild rides and that, and then end the game with a fling. It's just a different approach to how you want to carry out your game plan. They're different. Which one's better? I don't know. I feel like this one might be a little bit more reliable in the long run of games. You might have a few percentage points more success with a deck like this compared to something like Fling deck. However, if you like the Fling deck and that's your style of play and it matches what you want to do, that's what you should be doing, because nothing will trump, well, not nothing, but most of the time, your enjoyment or your familiarity with a deck is going to be more powerful than the makeup of the deck, especially when it's so close in design. Yep. Whichever one you like more is the one you go with. I like this one. I think I'm going to continue playing this one at maybe a little bit more, try to hit Mythic with it, and just get it done with. It is what it is. And then Marvel Superheroes coming out next week. Monday video. I don't know what it's going to be. If it's going to be another Brawl video, if it's going to be like a, hey, let's look at some Marvel Superhero stuff, or if it's just going to be another one-off thing. Life Gain, maybe? I haven't played Life Gain for a while. I know y'all like Life Gain. But we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy your weekends. Thank you for sticking it out through this whole video. Say hi down in the comments. Even if, listen, if you've watched the video to the very end, do me a favor, sub up if you haven't already. The subs have been great. Like the video, of course, and leave a comment. Just say hi. If I do the same thing. I get on people's videos and I want to leave a comment. I'm like, I got to try to be witty, or I got to say something interesting. So say hi. How you doing? Good enough, right? I want to keep saying this because I want to promote it. I think interacting with smaller channels is a great way. Don't just interact with mine. Go and interact with all the channels that you're watching and just say hello. It helps them. It helps us all. It pumps YouTube impressions, I believe. If we're getting more comments, YouTube will start sending out the video to more and more people, and more impressions means more clicks and more eyes and all this good stuff. So thank you very much for helping me out with all that good stuff. Long ending again. Enjoy your weekend. Take care. See you in the next video. Bye bye.